Friday the 13th Part 2 takes the ridiculous ending of the first movie and tries its damnedest to make some sense of it. I can imagine that the screenwriters were posing every plot idea in the form of a question. Hey, maybe Jason didn't actually drown in the lake and instead just lived by himself in the woods for 30 years? This is of course followed by an exaggerated shrugging of the shoulders with a look that is almost apologetic. The first several minutes of this movie is devoted to Alice having a nightmare about the last several minutes of the original Friday the 13th. She's having a nightmare about beheading the crazy woman that murdered all of her friends, which is completely understandable, but she's also having a nightmare about young Jason pulling her into the water. I mean, that was pretty well established already to have just been a nightmare itself, so she's basically having a nightmare about a previous nightmare she had because that is just the kind of movie that we're in right now. We are then treated to a thrilling sequence wherein we see Alice just kind of going through her evening routine. For like 10 minutes, it's just her tidying up and... oh no. I know what that shot means. Jason's right behind you, Alice. Oh man, I almost can't watch. This is gonna be nuts. What? Let's back up a skosh here. Couple issues. One, the handheld point of view shot is not a damn toy. If you're gonna use it, then I'd better be able to imagine the killer right behind the camera. And two, did Alice just take a 10-second shower? Does she subscribe to the speed over accuracy and let gravity do all the work method of showering? She didn't even wash her hair. Alice then opens the fridge and sees Jason's mother's severed head and gets an ice pick to the brain. So basically the first 1/5 of this movie is completely pointless. We then meet Sandra and Jeff who are on their way to camp counselor training at the camp next to Camp Crystal Lake. And hey, it's Crazy Ralph, the lovable harbinger of doom from the first movie.
You're all doomed. You're all doomed.
Okay. Sandra and Jeff are meeting up with their friend Ted before heading to camp and, oh no. I don't like the look of this guy. Oh god, he's the comic relief, isn't he?
So the bear wiped his ass with the rabbit.
Okay, that's pretty funny. Wiped his ass with a rabbit. We then meet Paul and his assistant Ginny who are going through orientation for counselor training.
Mark, I know we worked a season or two together, right? Okay, the rest of you, I'm sure I'll get to know soon enough.
I wouldn't exactly count on that. Alice ate up a lot of screen time, and there's only about an hour left in this movie. Jason only has 1 kill under his belt, and holy hell, there's like 20 people here. I'm never going to learn all these characters' names.
But I'm going to give it to you straight about Jason. His body was never recovered from the lake after he drowned. He's still out there. Legend has it that Jason saw his mother beheaded that night, and he took his revenge. 5 long years he's been dormant. Jason's out there.
So it's hard to know where to begin with this new narrative. So Jason was 11 when he supposedly drowned in the lake, but now we're led to believe that he never died and lived in the woods for 30 years before finally witnessing his mother being brutally murdered. So then what the hell is the deal with 11-year-old Jason attacking Alice in the lake? I understand that they only added that scene as a shocking end to their movie, but now with the knowledge that Jason was in fact 40 years old at the time just makes it even more maddening. It's almost like they were just making it up as they went along. I'm just kidding. Of course they were making it up as they went along. So we're a half hour into this movie and Jason has only killed 2 people. He's going to have to kill someone every 5 minutes if he wants to have a respectable body count. Aw, come on, dude. No, I meant you have to kill people. Don't kill the tiny dog, man. Poor Muffin.
My name Jason and I'm picking berries and oh poop. Girl definitely going to see Jason. Oh, double poop, Jason step on stick. Think, Jason, think.
Muffin? Okay,
Huh?
I'm coming.
Did lady really not see Jason? Jason didn't think that would actually work.
So Sandra and Jeff decide to go to Camp Crystal Lake so that they have a cool story to tell.
Jason really have to pee. Jason gonna pop behind this tree and oh no, not again. Jason definitely caught this time. Oh, and they're gonna see Jason's wiener. Would you? Why no one able to see Jason? Jason's scared. Is Jason invisible?
Deputy Winslow shows up warning the counselors about being so close to Camp Crystal Lake. He's so dedicated to his job that when he sees someone run into the woods, he runs really deep into the woods after them. Like almost too deep into the woods. Definitely too deep in the woods for someone that is overweight and wearing jeans. He finally stumbles upon Jason's dumpy little shack, and even though he was chasing Jason, Jason very easily sneaks up behind him and brains him with a claw hammer. Back at camp, the counselors split up and half go into town to get drunk while the other half stay behind. That does slightly solve one problem. Jason won't have to kill nearly as many people as he would have otherwise. Terry breaks off from the group and decides to go swimming. Now, Terry is the only person with any kind of character development, but unfortunately for her, that characterization is girl who thinks every sound coming from the woods is her tiny dog, Muffin.
Muffin?
Yes, Terry, that was the sound of your half-pound dog, Muffin. The rest of the counselors then start coupling up to make the murders more efficient. It's all a freaking sprint to the finish at this point.
Don't wear yourself out. You want to wrestle? Come with me.
Oh, wrestling? I know what that means. Oh, then I actually don't have any idea what that means.
Oh, not again. She's definitely gonna see that got Jason right in the good eye.
Help! God.
Is that you, Muffin? Paul and Ginny make it back to camp and an epic showdown with Jason commences. Well, maybe epic isn't the correct term to use here. We're pretty early in the series, and it's painfully obvious that they didn't know exactly who Jason was or what kind of identity he was supposed to have yet. Freddy had his sweater and knife glove, Michael Myers had coveralls and a Shatner mask, and early Jason had a burlap sack and a pickaxe. The subsequent movies in this series show Jason as an unstoppable juggernaut who looks imposing and completely badass, but this movie really struggled with that aspect. It could be a range of issues, but I'm mainly leaning towards the potato sack unceremoniously draped over his noggin.
Ginny having car trouble? Jason have jumper. Whoop! Jason slipped. Be careful, Ginny. Very slippery out here. Excuse me, miss. I think you dropped your... Jason's testicles. Surprise! Oh, Jason's already sore testicles. Careful, Ginny. That's the side that bites.
Ginny runs into the woods and takes refuge in Jason's ramshackle home with Jason in hot pursuit. While trapped in the house, she finds the skull of Pamela Voorhees along with her sweater in a sort of makeshift shrine. Ginny makes the ballsy choice to put on the sweater and pretend to be Jason's mother. You know how they say that to survive a bear attack, you should play dead, and what a huge freaking gamble that is? It's like that. It's exactly like that. So beyond all logic, Ginny's plan works and she's able to drive a machete into Jason's shoulder while he's busy attacking Paul.
Thank you for not targeting Jason's genitals this time.
Paul and Ginny make it back to the cabin safe and sound. I hope this movie doesn't end with an implausible jump scare from Jason, followed immediately by a scene suggesting that it was all a dream, or I'll be pretty cross.
Best friend.